In a lot of cases, we might want to get the mean or the sum of an entire column in this data. So we'll do that a couple of different ways. So age is a column name. Remember, our data frame is called data set. So there's two ways we could reference the name if we wanted to sum up the entire column. We can use this command, dataset.age.sum. And then another way to do that is to reference the column name with quotes in brackets, and we should get the same result. So kind of depends on the name, which one is better or which one's your preference. Notice we can do the same thing with the mean. Tells us that the mean age of the person in this data set is 45.33 years. And then there's another account in this data set. If we scroll all the way back up to the dataset.info, notice an account like, say, CD account has a space in it. So the first way that we did the sum here wouldn't work, but we can still use the second method by putting the name CD account in quotes. And so the sum of the CD account column is 302. Now, if we go back to the dataset.info, we need to start understanding some of the data types. So out here, this D type is data type, and you see that age is an INT64, which means an integer number or whole number with up to 64 digits. CD account, column 9, is also the same type, INT64. And notice these values that we pulled up under the age column are integer numbers. Okay. But let's also try the mean command on the CD account. So it's interesting that the average of the values in CD account is 0.06. All right, and so it would be interesting to see, and that's the average of a lot of integer numbers. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of values are in the CD account column. We know some of the values that are in the age column. You know, here are ages 29, 30, 63. But what about CD account? Well, we can display the value accounts, and we'll do that this way. So if we reference the CD account column and then use the command value counts, like so, what it shows us is that of these 5,000 values or entries in the data set, 4,698 of them have a CD account value of 0, and 302 of them have a CD account value of 1. So what this is that CD account is a dummy variable where 1 represents that a customer has a CD account with the bank, and 0 is a customer who doesn't. So age is an integer variable, and CD account is an integer variable, but they're very different kinds of variables. These 0 and 1 just represent a yes or no that the customer has an account and don't mean anything numerically. So it's important sometimes to do the value counts so that we know what kind of data is in the variable. If we look back up to the data set, we see here's another data type. It's called float64, and that's CC average, which is a customer's average credit card balance. And a float type variable is just a decimal number. So let's try to take the average of the CC average column, take the mean. And so the average, I believe this is in thousands, the average credit card balance is 1.937. If we look at another data type, go back up to our dataset.info, there are two variables here, education and state, that are object. And object is a text variable. So what we might want to know about, say, education, is what values are in education. In the education variable, forgot to put data set. Okay. And so there's three types of education. There's undergrad, advanced professional, and graduate. If we wanted to list those in alphabetical order, we can also append this command sort_index, and it does this in alphabetical order. And notice I could have used this same syntax here and put education in brackets and quotes. Either one will work fine. Let's do the same thing for state. And so we see that in this bank's customer database, there's three states: Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Notice just quickly, if we were to try to sum the state column, it'll give us just something that doesn't make any sense. And so, clearly, because that's a text variable, it can't sum that. And probably, if we try to get the mean, it's going to just give us this error message. And that's because it's an object variable that just has text in there. So I'll just delete this. The way you delete a cell is you can highlight it and you can hit D twice. And so that's just some of the operations we're going to need to analyze and summarize some of this data in Python.